There will always be rocks in the road ahead of us. They will be stumbling blocks or stepping stones. It all depends on how you use them. Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed. I was in darkness, but I took 3 steps and found myself in paradise. The first step was a good thought, the second a good word, and the third a good deed. There are 2 different types of people in the world, those who want to know and those who want to believe. Nobody is more inferior than those who insist on being equal, and those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who could not hear the music. To live is to suffer, to survive is to find some meaning in the suffering. You have your way, I have my way. As for the right way, the correct way, and the only way, it does not exist. All things are subject to interpretation. Whichever interpretation prevails at a given time is a function of power and not truth. Enjoy life. This is not a dress rehearsal. Those who are devoid of purpose will make the void their purpose. I'm not upset that you lied to me. I'm upset that from now on I can't believe you. The tree that would grow to heaven must send its root to hell. Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster. And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back into you. No price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. Silence is worse. All truths that are kept silent become poisonous. If you know the why, you can live anyhow. To predict the behavior of ordinary people in advance, you only have to assume that they will always try to escape a disagreeable situation with the smallest possible expenditure of intelligence. Do you want to have an easy life? Then always stay with the herd and lose yourself in the herd. You must be ready to burn yourself in your own flame. How could you rise anew if you have not first become ashes? Thoughts are the shadows of our feelings, always darker, emptier, and simpler. He who cannot obey himself will be commanded. That is the nature of living creatures. Be careful when you cast out your demons that you don't throw away the best of yourself. The kingdom of God is not something one waits for. It has no yesterday or tomorrow. It does not come in 1,000 years. It is an experience within a heart. It is everywhere. It is nowhere. Insanity in individuals, something rare, but in groups, parties, nations, and epochs, it is the rule. Call me whatever you like. I am who I must be. I am a forest and a night of dark trees, but he who is not afraid of my darkness will find banks full of roses under my cypresses. The higher we soar, the smaller we appear to those who cannot fly. Everything matters. Nothing's important. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. It is not a lack of love, but a lack of friendship that makes unhappy marriages. I know of no better life purpose than to perish in attempting the great and the impossible. When marrying, ask yourself this question: do you believe that you will be able to converse well with this person into your old age? Everything else in marriage is transitory. There are no facts, only interpretations. Men who think deeply appear to be comedians in their dealings with others because they always have to feign superficiality in order to be understood. Solitude makes us tougher towards ourselves and tenderer towards others. In both ways it improves our character. In loneliness, the lonely one eats himself. In a crowd, the many eat him. Now choose. There is no defense against stupidity. My solitude doesn't depend on the presence or absence of people. On the contrary, I hate who steals my solitude without, in exchange, offering me true company. The snake which cannot cast its skin has to die, as well the minds which are prevented from changing their opinions. They cease to be mind. One can promise actions, but not feelings, for the latter are involuntary. He who promises to love forever or hate forever or be forever faithful to someone is promising something that is not in his power. Everything the state says is a lie, and everything it has stolen. One should die proudly when it is no longer possible to live proudly. Love your enemies because they bring out the best in you. The real question is, how much truth can I stand? There are no beautiful surfaces without a terrible depth. There is always some madness in love, but there is also always some reason in madness. The world is beautiful, but has a disease called man. What is the difference between someone who is convinced and one who is deceived? None, if he is well deceived. The surest way to corrupt a youth is to instruct him to hold in higher esteem those who think alike than those who think differently. Amor fati. Love your fate, which is in fact your life. Every deep thinker is more afraid of being understood than of being misunderstood. I and me are always too deeply in conversation. The true man wants to things, danger and play. For that reason he wants woman, as the most dangerous plaything. Nothing on earth consumes a man more quickly than the passion of resentment. Young people love what is interesting and odd, no matter how true or false it is. More mature minds love what is interesting and not about truth. Fully mature intellects, finally, love truth, even when it appears plain and simple, boring to the ordinary person, for they have noticed that truth tends to reveal its highest wisdom in the guise of simplicity. So long as men praise you, you can only be sure that you are not yet on your own true path but on someone else's. Is it better to out-monster the monster or to be quietly devoured? We have art so that we shall not die of reality. There are horrible people who, instead of solving a problem, tangle it up and make it harder to solve for anyone who wants to deal with it. Whoever does not know how to hit the nail on the head should be asked not to hit it at all. One must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. Be careful who you choose as your enemy, because that's who you become most like. Loneliness is one thing, solitude another. People who live in an age of corruption are witty and slanderous. They know that there are other kinds of murder than by dagger or assault. They also know that whatever is well said is believed. Only he who is man enough will release the woman in woman. For what purpose humanity is there should not even concern us. Why you are here that you should ask yourself, and if you have no ready answer, then set for yourself goals, high and noble goals, and perish in pursuit of them. Our greatest experiences are our quietest moments. You know a moment is important when it is making your mind go numb with beauty. He who obeys does not listen to himself. Man is the only animal that must be encouraged to live.